What's up, guys? This is part of a five video series where we will ideate on a logo. Then we will export that logo as an SVG into Spline to create something super sexy. Then we're going to animate that logo using Spline. Then I'm going to show you how to actually export that logo in various different ways using the Spline platform from video, PNG, and embed, various other things. And now in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to import that or embed that in a website. So if any of that previous stuff interests you, go back and watch the other videos. Okay, let's say we wanted to embed this in a website. Now this is Webflow. You can actually do embeds in various different platforms, from Framer to whatever you want. But I use Webflow just because it's my preferred platform. But like I say, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can use Spline in all sorts of different platforms. But yeah, this is just my preferred platform for this. I'll show you one of the websites that. Well, this is my portfolio website. So this is the kind of thing that you can do in Webflow. Have 3D assets. And do some quite funky stuff. Also, I've got actually loads of articles inside here, so if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I'm going to be adding things every single week to help you become better at Spline, if that's at all of interest. Okay, so we're in Webflow. You can create an account for free, just like you can create a Spline account for free, and you can have 2 free projects. Now, as long as you don't connect this to a domain and want hosting, you can actually create your own website, and it can actually be published on the web. It will just be a webflow.io domain. So that's what it will look like if you were to publish it. So it'd be the name of your project plus webflow.io. So just to be aware that you can, if you were to make a portfolio site or a startup website or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to this workspace. So this is my client's workspace that I was in just to do a demo project in. And what I've got here is I've got the title, I've got the paragraph text, we've got a button. And imagine, if you have a website and you wanted to launch a landing page with a home hero header, spline animation, you can do that inside Webflow quite easily. And I'm using this style guide from a guy called Timothy Ricks. He has this thing called Lumos, which is a really, really useful way of building a website super simply. So what I recommend you do is you actually, if you were to start this process from scratch, if you go to the Made in Webflow page and then you type in Lumos v2, Lumos is, like I said, this build system that this guy has created, and you should see his style guide come up. If it ever loads. Okay, so here it is, style guide. You can see it's been cloned by quite a few people. I'm probably about half of those clones. You click clone, and then you'll have a website in your account, which means that you can then use to build. Okay, so if we go back to this page here, it's called the Humble Strawberry because initially I was working on a very different design for this video series, which had a gigantic strawberry, which was quite fun. But yeah, for this video, we are actually going to be working on something very different, this logo. You've got your website now. And if you wanted to actually embed a Spline asset, you'd put a container. So you can add a div block or a container. Probably a div block is just the easiest one. And let's call this Spline contain. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 100% width and 100% height. So what that means is it's going to fill the width and height of the container that it's in. Now, if we go back to Spline, we are ready to put in our logo asset. I've got quite a few different assets now, so it's getting a bit confusing in my file, but let's get this demo one here. Now, if we get rid of this colored background just so we can see it a bit better, we've got logo, and inside logo we've got star and circle. Okay, now this is important because if we do animations in Webflow, it's just good to know that you've got your layers named from the get-go, so you know what you're clicking on when you're clicking on it inside Webflow. Let's give this, let's actually delete these for now. We're going to delete all the animations that we've got because we can actually do those animations in Webflow. And I'm going to change this from, I'm going to change this scene from responsive auto zoom no to yes. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when this screen size gets smaller, I want this to get smaller with the screen size. If we turned auto zoom off, then that wouldn't happen. Okay, so that's just a really important thing to note there. Now, if I click if I click export and go to play settings, if I don't want the background color, then I can turn this off. If I don't want page scroll, I don't mind the cursor being default, that's fine. And I don't want any animations inside of Spline. The reason for that is because I want to do the animations in Webflow. I just find it's easier to control animations in Webflow than in Spline when it comes to screen position on scroll and various other things like that. Okay, so we've got viewer, and I'm going to copy this embed. Then I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go Command K, and I'm going to go Spline scene. Now, when I click in this URL, I'm going to paste in the production link that is in viewer, and then this top link here. And I'm going to paste that inside. Great. Now this is kind of small. What we can do is we can name this class Spline contain, and you can see that I've made it 100% width and height. Great stuff. So it's not moving as I hover, but it is scaling down. That's great. It seems to be a bit strange with the spacing. What I might do is actually make this a lot bigger in the viewer. If I change that, let's see, it's updating the viewer, and then if I reload this, we should see a bigger logo. Look at that. Great. Great. So this content is responsive and our logo is wrapping round below 470 pixels. Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what I want. We're going to make this into a completely different section. So let's get this section here. I'm going to duplicate this and call this home fixed. And I'm going to get rid of all this stuff that's currently in this container. In fact, let's just get rid of everything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a spline animation. In fact, let's get exactly the same. In fact, no, sorry, I'm complicating things. Let me get this production link. In fact, let's get a different production link so that I don't mess it up. I'm going to go to, let's check the settings, responsive, yes, export, viewer. I'm going to go into here. No, great. And I'm going to click on this now here. Great. So now we've got a similar spline scene, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this inside a section which I'm going to make 100 viewport width. So I'm going to call this about section, 100 viewport width, 100 viewport height, and I'm just going to change this to flex center. If I was actually doing this properly, which I probably should do, I should go v flex center center. So the reason why I'm doing that, oh, we've lost our link. Why is that? There it is. The reason why I'm doing that is because we've now got this on aligned to the center of the page, which is 100 viewport width and 100 viewport height. Now what we can do is we can actually fix this to the center of the page. If we change the section to position relative, great, it already is. And then I'm going to call this fixed spline. Position, I'm going to call that fixed center. And then I'm going to put another section below this. Let's get section full, duplicate section, home, benefits. Then what we've got now is we've got something which will actually stay behind the screen as we scroll. The asset is just fixed to the top of the screen. So what I can do is I can actually change the background of this section to black, color dark, and what that will mean is that this asset will essentially be hidden beyond everything else. So you see how now, as we scroll down, this asset reveals itself. So we've got quite an interesting scene now with a lot of different stuff happening. If we go back to this section fixed here and spline fixed, what we can do is on page scroll, this asset can do quite a lot of interesting stuff. We can have it start at a slightly smaller size. Let's change this to 0, 0, and then at 100 we're going to change this to 6.2. Whoop, 6.2, and you'll already see quite an interesting effect that's happening as this asset scrolls down the page now. So asset reveals itself, asset scrolls, and then comes into focus on another section down here. Now you can see how powerful this could be if you had text on various different sides of the page. As you scroll down, you could do some quite interesting things. You know, you could have this scale up and down as it scrolls. So let's say we had, maybe we wanted it actually to be very small at the start and then very big as it carried on down the page. So we could make this 1, 1, 1 as it scrolled. So that's getting bigger and bigger. Let's make this something more like 3, just so it's massive. And it will really show off what I'm talking about. Okay, so asset getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's huge now. So now we've got something that's quite an interesting effect, is it's coming out from below and then getting bigger and bigger. Seems to be working. And there it is, guys. You have seen how to take a logo from this idea to an animation, to various different ways of extrapolating that animation, or to use that animation in various different ways, from a little logo animation to a video to imagery to actually embedding that on a site and utilizing that in various different ways to make something look quite cool. Hope that helps, and let me know if there's anything else you want to see. That was a kind of quick fire mini series. Something to note as well is that I actually do articles. I've got loads of different articles and videos on my website that might be really helpful for you guys if you're interested. And I also have this Substack as well called Spline Time 3D, where I basically share different tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. So I really hope that that is also helpful. Cheers, Denny. He's always supporting my stuff, so I appreciate you. The other thing to say is that I also have Twitter, where I'm sharing loads and loads of bits and bobs that I'm sharing kind of as I go, from creating apps, creating 3D stuff, and generally just doing all sorts of different bits and bobs there. So I really hope that all of this content helps you guys. If you guys have any questions or any videos that you want me to make, please do let me know. I would love to know more, and I'll try and work out